We're going to work on some beginner intermediate exercises, and you have the option for this workout to use your round bands. So either a fully round band like this, which is what I'm going to be using, or don't worry, if you only have the long band, quite easy. You just wrap it around wherever you are. This one's got a loop, a bit tricky. So you just tie it up and then you've got your round loop. So when that comes off, we're going to use that as a loop wherever. So I'm just going to use my round band for ease, but like I said, you can tie up that long band if you need to. Or it's a beginner intermediate class, exercises will be at that level and you can do without the band at all. So choose wherever you are. I'm going to demonstrate with the band on, but if you're not using that piece of equipment, just do everything I do just without the band. Okay, so we're going to come down to the mat to begin with, lying on our tummies for a swim level 2 variation. So if you're using the band, you're going to just pop that around your wrists now. Okay, we're coming down to the mat, lying on your tummy. So just take a moment to set yourself up in that prone position. So remember, you're keeping active through your centre. Tuck that tailbone down between your legs. Draw that lower belly away from the mat, pelvic floor active. Okay, so we're going to take those arms overhead for that swim 2 variation. So rest your forehead onto the cushion, back of the neck nice and long. Reach one hand, shine a light from those fingers. And if it feels okay through the shoulder and the arm, then you're going to hover those fingers just an inch or so off the floor and release back down. And then switch sides. Reach the other finger's hand forward. Slide your shoulder blade down your back and hover that hand and release. Breathe out as you reach and lift. Breathe in as you lower back down. Reach out as you switch, reach and lift. And then breathe in as you hover back down. Continue in there. If you have any pain in your shoulders, any discomfort, then you don't do the lift. You just slide your fingers along the floor and then release them back down again. Breathe out. And in. And out. And in. Lovely. Keeping your center set. Keeping that lower belly drawing away from the mat. That tailbone gently tilting down towards your feet. Reaching and hovering. Don't lift the arm until you've stretched it as far as you possibly can. Lovely. Good work. Let's go again. Breathe out. And in. Just a couple more here. Lovely. Good. Take a pause. Now what we're going to do is keep the hands on the floor for this one. And we're just going to pulse out into the band. So keep both arms nice and straight. Reach those fingers forward and you're just pushing that band outwards. Obviously, if you're not using the band, you're just pushing those hands out. For 4, 3, 2, 1. Lovely. And release and relax back down. Let those shoulders a little roll and a shake there. So now we're going to move into a breaststroke variation. Okay. So we're going to bring that band round behind our backs. Obviously, if you're not using the band, just set up in your normal position. Okay, so if you're not using the band, the only difference here is your hands might be coming all the way down to rest on the mat. If you've got a band around your wrists, then it's going to just lift those hands a little bit to begin with. Okay, so we're just coming into some single arm work here to begin with. So wherever you are, you're going to lift one shoulder, peel it away from the mat, and then bring that hand up. And then release back down again. So this time you're shining those lights down the body towards your feet. Peel the other shoulder away from the mat. Reach and lift that hand. And then lower back down again. Lovely. Continue there, alternating sides. Peel the front of the shoulder off the mat. Reach that hand. Shine those lights to your toes. And release back down again. Breathe out. And then in. Lovely. So out as you lift. Back of the neck nice and long. Front of the neck nice and relaxed. Lower belly engaged. Breathe out. And in. Continue there. Just a couple more before we change it slightly. Lovely. Take a pause. Now we're going to do both together. Peel those shoulders away, lift both arms, and just give me little pulses out into the band. If you're not using the band, just keep those shoulders, those hands lifted, And just imagine you have that resistance band there and you're just pulsing those hands out gently, breathing, little breaths, little pulses. Engage through the belly, tilt that tailbone down for 4, 3, 2, 1. Well done. Release back down. So just release those hands out of the band now and just push yourself back into a shell stretch. Let the arms go long so you get a nice stretch on those shoulders and just let that forehead melt down into the mat for a moment. Lovely. And then where you are, just rolling up into a gentle kneel position and just rotate the head from side to side just to release that neck. Good, just a couple more times. And just roll the shoulders back nice and slowly 3 times. And then roll those shoulders forwards 3 times. Lovely, just for a little release in between. Good. So now if you're using that band, you're going to take that band and pop it around your feet for a little bit of work, back down onto our tummies, but into our swim 1 variation now with a little bit of combination with our 1 leg kick. So this time, if you've got that band, just have the feet wide enough that you've got a bit of tension there. And the top of your feet are grounding that band down into the mat. So take that forehead, rest on your hands or hands by your sides, resting on the cushion. So we're coming into a swim level 1 and 1 leg kick combination. So we reach, let's just start with the swim 1 first. 1 leg and then lower. Draw those sit bones together, tense through the buttocks. Keep the knee nice and straight as you come up into that swim level 1. Let's alternate sides. Shine a light from the end of your toes to the wall behind you and then lower. So don't lift that leg until you've stretched and reached those toes as far as you possibly can. Feel active through your buttocks. Lovely, good work. Now we're going to add another little movement on. So after you've lifted the leg straight, move the same leg and just bend that leg towards your bottom and release back down. Lovely, then switch sides. Straight leg lift and then bend the leg. Now if you're using the band, that bend's going to be quite hard. So if you need to, you can just release the band for this one. Obviously if you're not using the band, you're just copying these movements without that band. Straight leg, bend the leg. Lovely, good work. So we're switching between firing up through the buttocks mainly and then into the back of the thigh. Good work. Breathe. So each time the leg lifts, you're breathing out and in as it lowers. Let's do a couple more here. Good work. Keep that center engaged. Keep that tailbone tilting down between your feet and keep the lower belly drawing away from the mat. Lovely. Now we're going to just go into that straight leg lift. Hold and pause there. Engage your buttocks, draw your sit bones together, tilt the tailbone down and give me little pulses. With or without that band, you're pulsing. You're keeping the front of the neck nice and soft, back of the neck nice and long, shoulders nice and relaxed. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Gently release that one down. Reach the other toes. Engage the buttocks. Draw the sit bones together. Pause. Draw your lower belly off the mat and pulse. Just pushing that foot a little bit further to the ceiling. If you're using the resistance band, just pushing into that band a little bit more each time. Little pulses, little breaths for 3, 2, 1. Well done. Good work. Okay, so we're going to just push ourselves up onto our all fours and just release into a little cat-cow now from there, okay? Just a couple in each direction, so curl under into that cat position, tilt your tail down between your legs, push the middle of the spine to the ceiling, tuck your head under, and then release the opposite way. You've got a piece of string on your tailbone, pulling it to the ceiling, shoulders gently draw down your back, lift your head if that feels good. Let's go one more in each direction. Tuck the tailbone under. Draw your lower belly right in to give you that freedom of movement through your spine. And then drop down. Tip that tailbone up. Piece of string, pulling it to the ceiling. Shoulder blades glide down. And release. Lovely. So you're keeping that band on your feet if you are using it there. And we're coming onto our backs now. So we're going to do a little bit of work through our one leg stretch and our double leg stretch. Keeping the band on the feet if you have it. Obviously, if you're not using the band, you're just doing exactly the same without. Lovely. So we're going to come up into that double tabletop position. Just be a bit careful, you've got the band around your feet. You're not going to be able to lift one at a time like you normally do. So just take your time, engage through your centre getting there. Now, if you've got the band, you're going to have your feet a little bit further apart than normal, okay, to keep that tension into the band. If you're in your normal tabletop, obviously draw your knees and your feet a little bit closer together. Lovely. So we're going to start pushing into that level 3. Make sure your head is positioned well on the cushion, and we're going to push 1 foot away on that diagonal angle, reaching for that switch on the wall in front of you, with or without that band. Lovely. Touch that switch and then release back in again. Breathe out as you push away. Breathe in as you come back to your tabletop. Remember, keeping those lovely right angles, so we're not bringing those knees back in too far when we release that leg back in. Lovely. Good. Let's think about our centres. Are you drawing up through your pelvic floor? Are you drawing in through the lower belly? Have you got that spring engaged, drawing down from your lower rib? Are you open through the collarbones? Are your shoulder blades melting into the mat? Good work. So now we're going to take it into that double leg stretch. So reach those arms high, but keep those collarbones open, keep those shoulder blades melting into the mat. As that leg pushes away now, you start to reach those arms, hover overhead, and then back in. Obviously, if you're not using the band, you're just taking this version. If you're not using the band, you can always drop the feet to the mat as well, and you can take the legs alternately moving up through that position and then back down again. Continue wherever you are. I'm just going to demonstrate that version without the band. So continuing on, so you can come to here or to here. Lovely. If you're getting a bit tired, into that double tabletop. Good. Wherever you are, just repeating a few more here. For 4, breathe out and in. For 2 and 1. Good work. Release the hands down. Release the legs down carefully if you've got the band. And then take those legs out long, arms out long, and come into a nice long stretch, releasing off there. Good. So keeping that band around your feet for the time being, turn onto your side for the moment. So the top leg sits behind you, and you're going to use that foot to ground that band into the mat. Just slip your other foot a little bit further down so your ankle is around the band. So you've got the top leg sitting behind, holding that band down with your foot. Obviously, if you're not using the band, you're just setting yourself up in this position. We're going to fire up through the inside of the leg a little bit. So nice straight leg, and start to lift and lower that front leg, which is your underneath leg. Breathe out and in. Out and in. Lovely. So we'll feel this working quite quickly through the inside of that leg. That's lifting. Good. Nice and relaxed through the neck and the shoulders. This hand can come just gently resting in front of you for balance, or you can just pop it up on your hip. Wherever you are, you're engaged through the lower belly. Working hard through this thigh to lift the leg or lift into the resistance of that band. Good. And you're breathing. Good work. And let's hold the next one up and give me little pulses. Little pulses, little breaths. Keep that belly firing. Draw up through your pelvic floor. Nice and relaxed through the top of the body. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Well done. So we're going to do that same exercise straight away on the other side before we move back to our backs and change the position of the band. So just setting up with that top leg just behind, foot grounds the band in, bottom leg in front, with that band just rising up to above the ankle. Good. So you've got this top hand either resting here, lovely, We're pushing into that band or just lifting and lowering the leg. Breathe out and in. Out to lift, in to lower. Lovely. Or you can have that hand here if you feel nice and steady and strong. Good. Working through the inside of this leg. Keep that lower belly engaged and active. Keep that lower rib spring engaged and active. Nice and relaxed and open through the shoulders. Good. Nice and relaxed through the head. Breathe. Good. You're going to feel it quite quickly if you're using the resistance of that band. Good. Hold the next one up. Wherever you are, with or without that band, just give me little pulses. Little pulses, little breaths. Firing up. Lovely. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Well done. Good work. So we're going to go on back onto our backs, but before we do, just bring that band up just above your knees. So if you've got these round bands, you just have to be careful, they do tend to twist a little bit. Doesn't matter if it twists, it just feels a bit more comfortable if it's straight. Lovely, just above your knees, okay? Now we're going to come into a little bit of bridge work on our backs to begin with. So as you lie back down, just pop your cushion or your towel out of the way so your head is flat on the mat. So just take a moment, just line out through your feet, hips and knees, okay? You might need to be a tiny bit wider just to get that little bit of tension on the band. Good. We're going to just peel up into that bridge. So we're going to roll off that tailbone, start to lift the tailbone. Just feel that little bit of gentle tension on the band if you're using it as you peel yourself up into that bridge, coming to rest on your shoulders. So wherever you are, with or without that band, setting up exactly the same in this bridge. Make sure you're engaged through the front of the body, through that spring of your lower rib, lower belly, pelvic floor, as well as working through the back of the body, tension in the buttocks and the glutes to keep your hips nice and high. And then peel back down, drop through the breastbone, through the rib cage, through the back, and lastly the tailbone touches down. Let's do that a couple more times. Peel yourself up, your spine like a string of pearls, one bead at a time. When you get to the top, you just take a pause, you check in with your alignment with those headlights on the front of your hips, with your center, open the collarbones, relaxed in the front of the neck as you peel yourself back down again, breathing out through the movement. Lovely, so breathing out again as you peel back up. Feel every part of the movement. Keep the head, neck and shoulders nice and relaxed. Breathe in as you reach the top. Check that alignment. Use those buttocks. Draw those sit bones together. And then gently draw yourself back down again. Good work. So this time, we're going to hold ourselves at the top. So breathe and peel. Lovely. Nice and slowly take your time. When you get to the top of that bridge, if you have the band, you're going to start to push your knees outwards, pulsing into the band. Obviously, if you don't have the band, you just imagine it there and you just gentle pushes out of those legs. Keep those sit bones drawing together. Keep those bottom muscles working. They're what holding your hips up. They're driving those headlights to the ceiling. Lovely. Keep that lower rib spring engaged. Keep the lower belly engaged. Work the front of the body and the back of the body in synergy. Just a few more pulses here. And then we take another pause. Hold, reset yourself, open the collarbones, melt those shoulder blades, and now start to lift one heel at a time off the mat. Good work. Drive the opposite heel down into the mat as you lift the other heel. Push one heel down as you lift the other into our little bridge marches. Now check in with those headlights. Has one headlight dropped every time you move your heel? Just keep an eye on that. Make sure they're really steady, like weighing scales. Don't let one side drop. Good. Really work through those bottom muscles. Tension in those bottom muscles as you drive that opposite heel down. Lovely. Let's go for 4. Breathe. 3, 2, and 1. Lovely. Last little squeeze up through those bottom muscles and then slowly drop through the breastbone, the rib cage, the lower back, and lastly the tailbone. Good work. So take that pillow, just pop it back in under your head. Do a little bit more work here on our backs, and then we'll have a little turn around to do some prone prep work. So just take a minute just to roll your knees from side to side, just to give that body a little bit of a release before moving on to some scissors work. Good, just a couple more times each side. Lovely. Okay, so two options for your scissors. You've got your level 1 or your level 2. Level 1 being drawing up off the mat and back down to that rest position. One at a time. Obviously, if you've got that band, you're going to feel that resistance kicking in from that. Or you can come one leg at a time into that tabletop and come for your level 2, where you tap from that tabletop back to there, and then you release back down. So choose your level 1 or your level 2, with or without that band, working into those scissors. Now in those scissors, we're having to work a little bit harder through that spring on our rib cage to our front hip bones. Keeping that spring gently tense, keep that lower belly active, keep that pelvic floor active, open the collarbones, melt those shoulder blades into the mat. Now remember, watch, you're not closing down that angle between your foot and your hip. You're moving from your hip, moving the thighs. If you've got that band, you'll feel that resistance from the thighs into the band. Lovely. Keep going whatever level you're at. I'm going to switch to the level 1 for those of you doing that level 1. Lovely. Good work. Breathe. Let's go for 3 more. Back of the neck, nice and long, last one. Good, okay. So wherever you are now, you've got 2 options. We're going to do some hip twist work. You've got level 1 where your feet and your knees are glued together, with or without that band, it doesn't matter. And you're going to be rolling out one knee. Yeah, we're working on the same leg to the same side. Or you might take your feet apart a little bit and come into that level 3. So you've got one leg, the moving leg, up in that single tabletop. Okay, so let me show you from this level 3, or you're both feet down, glued together. We're going to draw a line out to the side with that knee, and then back in again. Like we're opening the page of a book. Open the book. Lovely. The foot stays in line with your knee. So we're not rotating the knee out. We're drawing a nice arc, a nice line, opening that book. Lovely. Breathe out as the leg moves out, and in as it comes back in. Obviously, if you've got that band there, you're just feeling that resistance from the band. So the really important part, I'm going to drop to the level 1, but continue on the level that you're doing with these hip twists, is those headlights and that supporting leg. You want to keep that supporting leg wherever it is really nice and steady and glued still. You want to keep the headlights on your hip bones facing directly towards that ceiling, especially this one on the supporting leg. Okay? You do that by engaging through your center, keeping nice and steady, neutral spine, rib spring engaged, lower belly engaged, pelvic floor active. And you do that and keep everything at the top of the body nice and relaxed. Good work. Let's go for 2 more this side, wherever you are. Breathe out as the leg moves out, and in as it comes back in. Good. Take a pause in the middle. We're going to move to the other side again, repeating on that same leg. So you're going to move through your level 1, wherever you are, begin now. Or you might be in that single tabletop, moving through your level 3. Level 3, working harder through that support leg to keep you steady, keep you grounded, keep that headlight on, especially this hip, facing towards the ceiling. It's going to want to follow that moving leg. So keep those hip bones grounded. Lovely, good work. Breathe out. And in. So in order to keep that lovely stability, that lovely rotational control, I'm working hard to keep my rib spring engaged. I'm keeping my lower belly connected, and I'm trying to keep my pelvic floor drawing up. Good work. Keep those collarbones nice and open, back of the neck nice and long, shoulder blades melting into the mat. Let's go for 3 more. Remember that foot stays in line with the knee, so you're not rotating the hip outwards. You're drawing and opening the page of the book for your last one. Good, and release back down. Good work. Take those legs out long again, arms out long. Let's just have a little long stretch there. before we move round into some prone prep work. So you're keeping that band, if you're using it, around those thighs, just above those knees. And we're going to come round now onto our all fours for some prone prep 1 and a little variation there. Good. So setting yourself up in that all fours position, remembering your knees are under your hips, your hands are just in front of your shoulders. Good. Soften the elbows, look between your hands to keep that length in the back of the neck. Lower belly engaging away from the mat. Don't drop that lower belly and those ribs towards the mat. Keep drawing the ribs up, keep that nice neutral spine. Tuck those toes under as we come into our prone prep 1. We breathe out as we hover those knees just an inch off the mat, keeping your trunk, your hips, everything nice and steady, and release back down. Breathe out. Let's breathe in to hold and out to lower back down. Good. Keeping the back of the neck nice and long, so you keep looking down between those hands. Keeping the spine really steady and neutral. Lovely. Keep drawing in that lower belly. Keep that tray of drinks balancing across your back. Headlights really straight and even, but the elbows stay lovely and soft. Collarbones nice and open. Good work. Next one, hold up for me. Good. We're going to just do little pulses out into the band, holding into this level 1 position. Just a few pulses here. Good. Well done. If you're not using that band, you're just working on those little pulses out. Trying to keep that spine lovely and neutral, lovely and steady. Draw that belly away from the mat. Don't let the rib cage drop down towards the mat for 3, 2, 1. Lower those knees for a moment. Nearly there. One other little variation to do in our prone prep 1 here. Realign your spine, balance that tray of drinks across your back, breathe out as you hover those knees. Now we're going to just kick those heels one at a time towards the ceiling, just to get a little bit of rotational control here into this prone prep position, working hard through that centre. Use your lower belly to steady you through the hips. You should still be balancing that tray of drinks along your back, those headlights on the back of your hip bones, still pointing directly towards the ceiling. For 4, little breaths, 3, and 1. Good, well done. Let's drop back down into a shell stretch here. So let those arms go long to give the shoulders a nice release. Let the head sink into the mat. Holding for a moment. Good. And then just separate your knees if that feels okay. And just sink a little bit lower into that stretch. Fabulous. So to finish off, we're just going to do a little bit of a set onto our sides, just firing up those buttocks that a little bit more. So coming down, taking hold of that cushion or that towel, just to get your neck in a nicer line. Shoulders facing front. We're going to do some clam, level 1 to begin with. Heels in line with your bottom, hips bent, knees bent. If you're using that band, it's just staying exactly where it is around your thighs. Take a moment to draw that top hip down and make sure that top hip is ever so slightly rolled forward so that front headlight stays pointing directly forward. Lovely. Start to open that top leg into your clam 1. As you do, just check your lower belly magnets are drawing together. If you need to, your hand is resting gently on the mat in front of you. If you're really nice and steady, your hand is just resting gently on that top hip. Your feet stay glued together. You're opening that clam shell. Lovely. And then closing it back down. Breathe out. And in. Out. And in. Good. You're lovely and relaxed through the top of your body. Front of the neck nice and soft. Collarbones open. Your spring is engaged. Your lower belly is engaged. You may be drawing up through your pelvic floor. Good. Working really hard through this top hip. Really important bottom muscles. Lovely. Good work. Breathe out. Now take a pause. Either carry on there in your level 1, or if you want to, lift the feet to allow a little bit more movement into this clam. But as we move a little bit more in this level 2, keep an eye on this top hip. Don't let it follow the movement. Don't let that headlight move. Keep it forward. Draw that top hip down and slightly forward. Good. You're going to feel it firing up quite quickly if you're using the band. Obviously, if you're not using the band, you're just doing exactly the same movement. Good work. Lovely. Let's go for 2 more there. And then we've got 1 more change. Lovely. Lower that bottom leg down, straighten the top leg, and lift. Lift and lower. Good. With or without that band, working hard through those bottom muscles. Keep that lower belly engaged. Breathe out as you lift, in as you lower. It's nearly over. For this side anyway. Let's do 3 more. Last one. Good. Just let that leg drop forward a moment. I think it's going to need a nice little tap after that. Lovely. And then let's turn ourselves to the other side for the last little set there. Good work. So as you can see, my band's rolled up a bit. Don't panic, still going to give you that resistance. So let's set ourselves up for that clown one to begin with. Just check your alignment. Check that top hip. Just remember to roll it down slightly. You've got that slither of light underneath here. Top hip forward, head light forward. Start to open that clam. Good work. Nice and relaxed through the top of the body. Make sure you're still engaged through your centre. And try and make sure you're still nice and neutral through your spine. So even this position, remember what we do when we're lying on our tummies. We have to eliminate that big dip in our back. So if you need to, just tilt your tailbone under a little bit if you feel like your rib cage and your tummy is pushing forward. Lovely. Breathe out. And in. And kick in all the more quicker on this side and still feel the underneath hip screaming. Good work. 2 more here before we give you the option to go to level 2. So take a pause, either stick with that level 1 or if you want to, lift the feet, start to open up a little bit more, but still watch this headlight on your top hip. Lower belly magnets engaged, lower rib spring engaged, nice and neutral through the spine, shoulders nice and open and relaxed, head and neck nice and relaxed, top hand on the top hip if you're nice and steady, or down on the mat if you just need a little bit of support. One more. Good. Drop that bottom foot, straighten that top leg, just a few lift and lowers to finish. Lovely. Remember, keep that top headlight facing forward. So again, on that lift and lower, to try and get the height, it's tempting to open up. We don't need to lift very high to get those bottoms working. Let's go for 5 more. Lower belly, stay engaged for those last few. Keep that centre working as you work those muscles in the bottom for 1. Good. And release. Little tap there. Let's just do 1 little glute stretch to finish, just to make those bottoms feel really nice. And release. Just take the band off if you want to. You can leave it there if you want to. Just cross that leg over. Try and just push that knee away a little bit before you have the option to just feed those hands through. Just come into a lovely stretch and release around this bottom. Some people might feel it stretching a little bit further down into the thigh. Just holding a moment there. And then release that one down and switch over.